The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are live on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Ketawan FM, Saboba, Radio Freed in Nandom, Kaliawo FM in Nakachi, Radio Max in Takrady, and ATL FM in Cape Coast. Go digital on Spotify and myjoyonline.com app. We're also streaming live on Facebook. In this edition, Ghana Water, Cocoa Board, and Ghana Airport Company collectively incur losses as much as 1.5 billion cedis in revenue. We have details of the 2020 State Ownership Report, which cast doubt on Cocoa Board's ability to serve its short-term obligations.
If a state enterprise for 12 years, like we met, hasn't prepared financial report, how can you manage such a company? You sign a check, you give to them, it will sink because it's like a sinking hole. So
we hear from the Ghana Water Company, plus tell you why ranking member on Parliament's Employment Committee is questioning the release of the report in the public domain.
So last night around 9 p.m. we had a power cut for about 2 to 3 hours.
There is no single week without the power going off for almost 2 days or 3.
Power consumers continue to experience outages despite assurances from transmitter Gridco of stable supply. We hear the thoughts of an energy expert. May 1 timeline for the rollout of the e-levy, a tough task. That's according to the Ghana Telecoms Chamber, as it highlights difficulties in readying its systems for the takeoff of the tax measure.
Prior to the passing of the bill, we were working with understanding that we're going to phase the project. 1st of May is tight. It's a tall ask, but we also are putting all resources together.
We have details of that, and dispute over parking space between a commercial driver and a KMA city guard results in the stabbing to death of the guard.
Asking him to move. When he wasn't moving, he sat in the car. And then when the city guard sat in the car, the driver then parked well, so he got down from the car, and it's amounted to some confrontations.
Details as police charge the suspect with murder and know that you have options if you feel abused in a relationship.
You need somebody to walk you through the steps that enables you to know, 1, that you are in danger, 2, that you have options, and if you really want to step out, we back you fully with whatever resources that we have.
That's the call by many activists who say leaving an abusive marriage is better than staying in one to die later. In sports,
we are disheartened by the referee's decisions to give Kumasi Asante Kotoko a penalty that caused our loss. We call on the Ghana Football Association to sanction him to serve as a deterrent to others. Hasafok tells GFA.
And later in the bulletin, the legal action seeking to stop fast-rising musician Black Sheriff from performing.
So anytime you pray, remember my name, remember you know a traveler. The name is Beku the Hustler. He's been far away just in Kuala. I can't wait to be back. I know you miss me, I know.
We'll look at the attempts of stopping Kweku from traveling. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa. Apawu, many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Please stay for details. Billion cedis in the joint venture enterprises. My colleague Elton Brobe has been looking or studying the account of the 3 entities and has come through with this report.
The Ghana Water Company tops the list with a reported loss of 938 million Ghana cedis. This, however, represents 64% improvement on net loss of 2.6 billion cedis posted for the year 2019. This is despite the Ghana Water Company exceeding most of its targets set for the year due to the government free water policy announced as part of measures to manage the COVID-19 outbreak. The report blames the development on obsolete infrastructure, low tariff, non-revenue water above benchmark levels, illegal connections which continue to bedevil the operations of the Ghana Water Company. The Ghana Airport Company also made a loss of 435 million Ghana cedis, and again COVID-19 will take the fall. As the main entry point to the country by air, Ghana Airport Company was a major victim of the pandemic as its operations came to a halt following the closure of the country's border by air, road and sea to curtail the spread of the disease by travelers into Ghana. Ghana Airport Company's international aircraft movement were 57% below their target of over 32,000 aircraft movement. Same was the case with domestic airline operations. Management of the airport company is blamed for poor corporate governance. The Ghana Cocoa Board also received bad ratings in the report. Production volume of beans was 775,488 metric tons, falling short of projected volume of 850,000 metric tons. The shortfall was attributed to disease and moribund overage cocoa tree stock coupled with relatively longer dry weather conditions during the crop season. In the year under review, Cocoa Board posted a net loss of 42.1 million Ghana cedis in 2020, compared to a net profit of 1.478 billion Ghana cedis, representing a decrease in net profitability of 102%. The report warns the company may have difficulty in servicing its short-term obligations as they fall due.
That's Elton Brobe summarizing portions of that report for us. Let me quickly bring in the Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Dr. Clifford Brimer. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News, sir. So out of the 1.5 billion that we are looking at, Ghana Water Company alone, you have almost 1 billion cedis losses in that report. First, let's talk about what actually caused it, because I know there was an improvement over 2 billion losses recorded in 2019.
We have to set the parameters right. Was GWCL or Ghana Water Company Limited set to make profits? The benefits of this country during COVID was credited to water supply. The lack of cholera over the period has been credited to water supply. These are social benefits, and if you want to talk about profitability in its true sense, these are factors that you have to also consider. And that is why a public utility company like water, nobody sets it up for profitability. And so when you measure it by profits and throw it out to the public, as if somebody is mismanaging a company, I don't think it's fair. The fact of the matter is that the structure governing Ghana Water Company does not allow it to be even profitable. One, you cannot determine the price of your commodity. So anytime there are increases, there are fluctuations, depreciation of the cedi, you cannot move it onto the consumer. So how are you going to make the profits? Two, the investment in the water company, in the water sector in Ghana, as a government, everybody must have access to clean water. Some of the communities are not profitable because of economy of scale. Ghana Water Company does not determine the locations of the water facilities. It is the decision of government of the day to send water supply to these communities. If Ghana Water Company was supposed to determine where they should put the infrastructure, and if they are supposed to be determined by profitability, we will have areas we will invest and areas we will not invest. And since we don't have the opportunity to invest or freely invest, it means that profitability is not a measure. And that is why Ghana Water Company has not been set up to make profit.
So essentially, Dr. Brimer, I hear you questioning the outcome of this 2020 state ownership report, correct?
I'm still coming on. You see, sometimes we are in an industry and then we have so many of us. Today, how many times have you, even this year, how many times has fuel price gone up? And if you take a graph of 2017 to 2021, don't even come with the 2022, and look at the graph of the tariff, it's going to be a straight line. And you are aware that the cedi has depreciated. And all our items are imported, including chemicals. Today, the chemicals have increased by more than 60%. Ghana Water Company does not have the capacity to transfer this cost onto the consumer. The PORC reviews tariff every 2 years. So how are you going to make profit out of this? So what I'm saying is that across the world, water utilities are assessed by efficiency. And if it is efficiency, 2017, GWCL had losses of water, that's non-revenue water, of 54%. Today, our losses is 45%. The 9% change, you will have to invest some money in there before you can achieve that. So across the world, water utilities are assessed by efficiency, but not profitability.
And
Even
for you,
1% efficiency.
from where you stand, the Ghana Water Company Limited is efficient because this report highlights obsolete equipment, low revenue collection, illegal connection, amongst others. But you insist that you are efficient as it stands now.
Exactly, because 55-year-old pumps at Tema, GWCL is using our operational money to invest in the capital expenditure to bring 4 brand new pumps here. If you go to Sechahima, because of the Galamsey, 3 of our brand new pumps, instead of drawing water, drawn salt.
Okay.
So they crashed.
Well,
we had to go to buy them with euros.
Well, Dr.
And
Brima,
these are not capital investments that are catered for fully.
Okay.
But we have to get them done.
I have limited time on this, but would definitely interrogate this further. But just before I let you off, I know you've made some proposals to the PRC. Are you asking for upward adjustment? What exactly are you seeking?
Yeah, we are asking for upward adjustment because today, as we said, GWCL is taking care of issues that should have been taken care of 50 years ago. GWCL is taking care of today to make sure that we are efficient, we can deliver water to the consumer at the right time, right quality. And we are also then taking care of the company, such that tomorrow it will still be in existence to serve the people of Ghana. And so we are doing 3 things with the limited resources that we have.
We're grateful for your time. That's Dr. Clifford Brimer. He's the managing director of the Ghana Water Company Limited. We've not heard the last of this particular issue and this report, but it's also emerging that the member of parliament for PRU is also the ranking member on welfare, employment and state enterprises in parliament. He's raising concerns about this particular report. That's the 2020 state ownership report that's currently in the public domain. There's an illegality question that he raises. Dr. Kwabena Donkor, we are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. Why do you say this is unlawful?
Well, I'm not saying it's unlawful. I'm saying it's in contempt of Parliament.
Why so?
The Enabling Act for SIGA at 990, Section 28(3) is very clear on how SIDA's annual report should be presented. The minister with responsibility for SIGA has an obligation under Act 990, Section 28(3) to present SIGA's annual report to Parliament. That has not been done. It is not just esoterics. This is so important because SIGA itself is a governance oversight body. And therefore, if SIGA will not go by its own enabling act, then we have a problem with governance, with corporate governance.
Well, the report...
I concede that SIGA on its own cannot come to Parliament. It has to bring the report through the minister responsible for SIGA. And that is what we are raising as a minority and as Parliament, that SIGA should obey the law.
Now, the report is out there. It appears they did not obey it, like you're saying. You say they are in contempt of Parliament. What do we intend to do? You are the ranking member.
Well, we have drawn the attention of the minister responsible for public enterprises. And I believe he will do the needful and lay it before Parliament. Once it's laid before Parliament, it will be referred to the appropriate committee, and that will be when we will scrutinize the issues contained in the report.
Okay. We are grateful for your time. That's the ranking member on employment, social welfare and state enterprises, Dr. Kwabena Donkor. Well, the Minister for Public Enterprises, Joseph Kujo, has been speaking about this report. For him, some of the state-owned enterprises are simply not fit for purpose and must be collapsed. He spoke to host of Pulse on the Joy News channel, Blessed Sugar.
My caution is just compliance. One word, compliance. You operate in an environment, comply with the dictates of the environment. Every state enterprise, from transport to housing to post, like Ghana Post, to electricity generation, to VRA, to transmission to distribution. Every sector where the state enterprise is, that sector has compliance. If I say compliance, financial report. If a state enterprise for 12 years, like we met, situation we met, hasn't prepared financial report, how can you manage such a company?
That's Joseph Kujo, Minister for Public Enterprises there, speaking to Blessed Sugar. There will be more of that on the Pulse on the Joy News channel much later. Now, some parts of the capital and surrounding areas continue to experience power outages. This is despite assurances from power transmitter Gridco that its reconstruction of transmission lines will not affect power supply. Former Power Minister Dr. Kwabena Donkor last week warned of the dreaded return of the Dumso, but the Energy Ministry dismissed this prediction. A couple of days later, Gridco issued a statement announcing daily outages for consumers relying on its Achimota, Aveno and Malam transmission lines. 2 days, it issued another statement saying there wouldn't be outages. Engineer Bernard Asantijan is manager at the executive office at Gridco.
There is no outage associated with this work, and we are going to make sure that we do this. We are going to do everything within our power to make sure that they have the supply as far as this work is concerned.
Bernard, just confirm for me, you say very minimal, if I heard you right, very minimal outages at a point. So there could be outages on the back of this?
We don't foresee an outage.
Well, but what is exactly the situation on the ground? Some of you have been speaking to us.
I've been experiencing power cuts in my area at Enter Foster Homes for close to 4 months, and that is very consistent. And there is no single week without the power going off for almost 2 days or 3. And it is preventing us for even storing food in our refrigerators, and most of our household appliances are being damaged. And I am not the only one being affected with that. Most of the people living in the neighborhood, and it's very worrying. The government must do something about that.
I live at Oyarifa. So last night around 9 p.m. we had a power cut for about 2 to 3 hours. So from 9 p.m. to about 11:30 or 11 o'clock p.m. he came back. So at least he came back, so I could enjoy the rest of my night. But I had to endure, heat.
When experiencing power cuts, the good side of it is not really being as terrible.
Well, that's some of your views on what exactly you're experiencing in terms of outages, in spite of the assurances that we've been given by Gridco. Let me bring in energy analyst and energy watcher as well. Kujopoko, we're grateful for your time. So what exactly do you make of the current situation? And are you surprised by the shifting of position of Gridco on how the reconstruction will affect power supply?
Well, it's a pity and it's very disturbing. Look, the first letter that came out of Gridco was a letter from the engineers. They sat down, seen the work they have to do, and they know that you cannot do that work without power disruption. So as per the dictate of what we've been discussing with them, they issued a statement. Then you realize that the politicians got involved. So, somebody who doesn't want the communication to be out there would have held the meeting and told them that, no, you guys cannot do this with the outages that you guys are planning. But the thing with electricity is that if you're doing work, you're doing maintenance, and the lights are going to go off, you can minimize the outages, but you cannot say it will not happen at all. We had a similar experience about 3 years ago when Honorable Apawu was minister. They were doing some work at Pokuase. They issued a statement that there was going to be outages. Later, similar thing happened. They said, oh no, the outages is not going to happen. They were trying to now bypass the outages through a certain corridor. The corridor got overloaded and the substation blew up. It became a bigger problem. So what I have a challenge with is the truth to Ghanaians. If there's going to be power outages, so be it. If you don't tell us, we can experience it anyway, as we've all seen what happened last night across the country. But my intelligence is saying that the outages last night must have been a result of other things in the upstream, where I think there was some gas shortages and stuff like that because of fire. I haven't been able to confirm this story. And it's unfortunate that most of the institutions are refusing to comment. So we are all in a limbo as to what's really going on.
Well, That's Kojo Poko, who is an energy analyst. We've also been trying to get some answers to what exactly is happening, whether Doomsor is back or not. We reached out to the Energy Ministry and we're told that the press will be addressed tomorrow on issues pertaining to power. So we've talked about water, we've talked about electricity or power. It's only natural that we talk about food. And we've been asking how much you've been spending on food recently. Drivers behind the Circle Overpass are unhappy. Their favorite Kinky and Mpesi have become more expensive due to the rise in fuel prices. Here's the Living Standard series for today.
A hungry man is an hungry man. Olu is hungry and angry because the bowl of kenke he bought for lunch has shrunk. His favorite kenke joint has increased prices. Olu paid 3 cedis for a reduced-sized kenke and 7 cedis for fish. Olu says in 2021, he used to spend less than 10 cedis on kenke and fish.
I bought kenke for 3 cedis. The fish is from 6 to 10 cedis. I have to fast to manage the money I have. We are really feeling the pinch in this economy.
The 68-year-old driver is still grappling with increased fuel prices and how to take care of his family. 3 others, Fred, Abraham, and Zizi, dropped by to have a quick lunch before getting back to work. They are equally not amused about the increase in prices.
1 kenke is 2 cedis. We bought 5, but it won't be enough. Initially, when it was 1 cedi, we bought 3 and some fish, but now we have to economize. It's really hard.
Kenke is arguably one of the cheapest meals to buy on the streets of Accra, but sellers say prices are up, mainly due to high maize prices and transport fares.
We buy our corn from Techima. A bag now costs 800 cedis per bag. We have to pay for transportation, pay for laborers, pay for utilities, and then pay for workers.
And so you're saying and to some your man, I was able to into some 4 million. Name the year you my gas or Monsieur Nipa to change and say better and continue in 1 better.
Ike says he now eats once a day.
And I'm an increment in 8 cedis.
The kenke and okra stew cost 11 cedis. I cannot spend more money because my girlfriend will also come for a share.
Well, on that Banku and okra stew note, we'll take a quick break here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top stories: Ghana Water, Cocoa Board, and Ghana Airport Company collectively incur losses as much as 1.5 billion cedis in revenue. We've been hearing from the Ghana Water Company disputing some of the claims in that 2020 state ownership report. When we return from the break, we have sports, and then later the legal actions seeking to stop fast-rising musician Black Sheriff, perhaps Kweku, from traveling.
So anytime you pray, remember my name, remember you know a traveler. The name is Kweku the hustler. He's been far away chasing Kuala. I can't wait to be back. I know you miss me, I know.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. And Muftar is talking about Kweku the Traveler at NBA. Okay.
So talking of traveling, Hasafok, they've traveled to the Ghana Football Association Secretariat.
Not too far.
Not too far.
What
very
has
close
happened?
to them. Well, they have asked the GFA to sanction the referee who handled the Super Clash on Sunday. They claim that the decision to award Kotoko a penalty led to Hasafok losing the game. And now they've called on the match review panel of the Ghana Football Association to sanction the referee. They say that he exercised indiscretion against the club and they want him punished so that it serves as a deterrent to all other future match officials who engage in such decisions. And they've also called on the club supporters to not be distracted by the negativity, but remain focused and continue to let their support count as they go through what they describe as a turbulent season.
Well, you people. Well, indiscretion against phobia definitely must not go unpunished. So we'll see. We'll be monitoring it.
This one will go unpunished.
Why Asante Kotoko this time? When this?
Oh, well, 16 points gap between the two teams.
Okay, bye-bye. Get
Yeah,
out of the
Beshamo.
studio. And that's it for sports. But let me take you to the Ashanti region now. And a city guard with the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly is alleged to have been stabbed to death in a scuffle with a commercial trotro driver and his assistant. 50-year-old Thomas Amachi Yankee, known popularly as Congo Soldier, was stabbed multiple times with a knife on the neck and stomach at the Kejitia First Gate Lorry Terminal. There's more in this report by Inshira FM's Ufuri Amanfo.
The father of 6 sustained injuries and later died at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital upon referral from a clinic at Adum. The public relations officer of KMA, Afia Kunedu Abuajis, the assembly received the unfortunate news from the unit head of the city guard.
After asking him to move, when he wasn't moving, he sat in the car, which they normally do that thing a lot. He sat in the car, and then when the city guard sat in the car, the driver then parked well, so he got down from the car. And it's amounted to some confrontations, and some people came to the middle of it, and then each one went his way. So he went then to stand at the KGTR gates, phase 1, the project, the gates, and for no apparent reason, and some people heard him saying, "Wekumiu." So his hands were here, and then on his chest, the left part. So the stabbing was on the neck, and then his chest area.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Police PRO Gordon Ahianyo tells my colleague Benjamin Akakbo the suspect will be put before court today on charge of murder.
We are preparing the suspect for court today. As you know, when incidents of this nature happen, it is the duty by the criminal justice system. It is the Attorney General that prefers charges. But provisionally, when I spoke with the district commander, saying the life has been lost, it's going to be a charge of murder that is provisional. So they will charge him, they go to court and pray for the court to remand him into custody.
Ashanti Regional Police PRO Gordon Ahianyo. This afternoon, government's May 1 timeline for the rollout of the e-levy is a tough task. That's according to the Ghana Telecoms Chamber, which has been highlighting the difficulties in readying its systems for the takeoff of the tax measure. The concerns of the chamber, made up of the mobile money service providers, are coming just days after the Ghana Revenue Authority announced that all the necessary structures have been put in place to start charging the e-levy as scheduled. Let's hear from Dr. Ken Ashigbe.
Prior to the passing of the bill, we were working with understanding that we're going to phase the project. We're going to start off with on the per wallet basis. But then with the passing of the law, the ministers informed us that we're going the full hog. So the issue of the waiver on the 100 Ghana cedis will be per person. 1st of May is tight, but we are all working to ensure that we are able to meet the timelines as has been set by the policy makers.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Telecoms Chamber, Dr. Ken Ashigbe. Now, since details leading to the death of Nigerian gospel musician Osinachi Nwachukwu became public, social media has been awash with people sharing similar experiences they are enduring, and also of advice from many advocates urging women especially to leave abusive relationships. We can hear from Director of the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Pinaman Apawu.
I've had patients I've asked, why wouldn't you leave if your husband is abusing you? They've said, look, I don't have the income. How am I going to take care of 2 children, 3 children, 4 children? So that's a major problem for some of the women. I guess we've been socialized to the point that we want to stay through to the marriage. So when the abuse is going on, we want to still stay in there. We don't
stay and die. That's the message. Listen to that's the director of the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Pinaman Apawu. And musician Black Sheriff is set to face off in court with his former manager Shadrach Owusu. Mr. Owusu accuses the musician of breaching the terms of their contract and is urging the High Court to stop him from performing till he pays him money accrued from his use of the music and image. Joseph Akable is our court correspondent. He joins me with details of what he's been picking up. Tell us more.
And so first, we know that lawyers for the musician on 8th April wrote to the former manager to inform him of the fact that after he had discussions with their clients, they had accepted his decision to terminate their contract. 2 days later, the said former manager decided to take legal action against Black Sheriff. He claims that he owes him certain amounts of money as a result of the contract that they had.
Undisclosed amount?
No amount is mentioned.
Okay.
In fact, he says they should restrain him from performing until he pays him all proceeds that he is made from his music as well as use of his image. So until that is done, he doesn't.
So it starts from Kweku from Pondi Assembly, but it's just Kweku the traveler.
We do not know the specific details of when the contract took off, but at least we know that it goes a bit backwards, and so that is what we know. And that legal action will obviously take place in the courts, and we'll see how that goes. But a lot of people are expecting him to be performing the Easter festivities.
So in the meantime, Kweku can continue to travel. Can we continue to
until
pour
the
water
court
on
stops
ourselves
him.
and perform on TikTok? Okay.
Let's see.
And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News. It's on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, and Kumasi is on Love 99.5 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. For those of you watching us on Facebook, many thanks for your company. Also on myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensah Otabil is up next. I am Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for being a part of the show.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that